Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to show you how to bring a dead lawnmower back to life. And to illustrate this video, I'm going to use this Troy-built push mower that I rescued from somebody's garbage pile. The way you see it's exactly the way I've found it. I've not tried to get it to run yet in this condition. Somebody else had started to take it apart. They tried to repair it with duct tape, which is always a good idea. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the spark plug. The spark plug wire is already loose. We've got that out. Now we're going to take the air filter off. A really dirty air filter. Could be the only thing wrong with this mower. We'll take the duct tape off. And the gas tank should slide right out. We're going to keep this setting upright so we don't spill any potential gasoline. Before we put that back on, we'll flush it out and of course fill it up with fresh gasoline. And this is already loose. Go ahead and move the oil dipstick out of the way. We're going to pull this top cover plate off. And we can see the magneto and the coil. The engine does turn freely. That's a good sign. It's not locked up. Got some garbage in here. The gap looks good. It's really tight. You can see how close the coil is to the magneto. If need be, we could loosen that and adjust it, and we probably will, because we're going to clean all these contact points here. We're going to clean it here, here, and on these pickups here on the side of the flywheel. Next thing we're going to do is remove the carburetor. This is a two-piece carburetor. I'm going to leave this piece on, mounted to the motor, and I'm just going to take off just the top half of the carburetor. I'm going to carefully take this spring off, and we're going to try to leave most of that in place. There should be a gasket back here, and hopefully we can reuse that, because I don't have another one to put on it right now. So we just want to be careful to make sure we find it, and that it's still in good shape. We're going to leave that linkage in place right there. We don't really want to mess with that. There's our gasket, and we can clean this surface a little bit. Here's the carburetor. Almost certainly this carburetor is going to be mostly full of water. Down here in the bowl, probably corroded. The jets probably have varnish in them from ethanol gasoline. So the next step is we're going to break this down and clean it out. Alright, we're disassembling the carburetor. We're going to go ahead and take the bowl off, spinning this off counterclockwise. And it's also got a little cardboard gasket on there that we want to keep in good shape. As the bowl comes off, if you can see down in this bowl, I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, there is a lot of junk in this bowl, and all that garbage right there was being sucked into the carburetor as this thing was trying to run. Also, you can see just the general mix here of water. So this thing would have never run like that. Go ahead and dump that out. I've got some kerosene up here to clean with. We're going to start cleaning that. There's also a rubber gasket around the base of the carburetor, and I want to keep that in good shape, but we want it to seal good, so we're going to clean that up. This is the float. There's junk under here, so we're going to have to take that apart also. I'll slide this pin out. I'm going to pull the float. The float's got a needle on it right there. We want to try to keep all that together. Look at the junk in that carburetor. That is just terrible. We're going to let this soak for a little while, and we'll be right back. That's been soaking a little while we ate dinner. And we've still got some junk in there. I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of that out by hand. I just want to show, so you can see it, how simple this carburetor is. If you notice, there's not even a way to remove the main jet that I can see, and there's no adjustment. So all we need to do with this carburetor is make it visually clean. We're going to check all the little portals. I'm using a paper clip. We're going to make sure all those are cleaned out everywhere that we find them. Also in this nut that goes on the bottom of the bowl, which we now have nice and cleaned out, and that's the way it should look. We want to check the ports both ways. One goes all the way through, and the other one here in the middle. We just want to make sure those are clean. While that carburetor's still soaking, we're still cleaning it up, I'm going to go ahead and pull off this coil. What I've got here is a piece of mostly worn out sandpaper and a little bit of kerosene on a rag. And I don't want to rough this up too much. I'm going to get some of that loose rust off of here just lightly. Any other junk that might foul it up. Kerosene rag and rub that down. Okay, now we've got the carburetor all clean. It's been soaked. You can see the choke is clean. We checked all the ports. The bowl is cleaned out, and should be ready to go back on. Hook up our governor spring here. Right, we are reinstalling the fuel tank.
He's changing the oil. I'm going to show you what's in this box. A new filter. A new one of these things.
Spark plug. Now we are reinstalling the new spark plug. Put that on. New air filter. We got fresh oil, fresh filter, fresh plug.
He's putting the fresh gasoline.
We're going to go ahead and try to fire it up for the first time. That sounded pretty good.